dear internet, and welcome back to part 2 of episode 8 of Tales of Jemmora. Tales of Jemmora, the Kraken's Wake.
Easy for you to say. It's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, appropriate for the Kraken's Wake. Before the break is May got kidnapped by creepy shadow thing, and then we determined you guys killed it.
We blowed it up.
Figuratively and literally. Then determined from that there was an undead war party on its way to Grufton, and that needed to be intercepted. The party seems to have successfully defended Grufton from the war party, who is now running away.
We
The party is deciding,
and each other.
and the party is trying to decide whether to give chase or not. And so I say to you, dear players,
Yes.
do you give chase or not?
Yes.
Absolutely. I've got speed 60, and that wounded bastard is still in melee range.
Okay. So, in that case, since they're all going to be taking the same action every round, we'll just cover what you guys do. So, Seraph, with the direction that they're moving, probably puts you out of most like short range spell range.
Okay.
But if you have any longer spell range stuff, like we'll say over 100 feet.
I have several things that function over 100
Okay.
feet.
Is one of them. I hear you might also have a wand that can do things at just over 100 feet.
I do have one of those, actually.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to go that way.
Okay.
That's what we're doing here.
So you take sort of the, it's like an ashen, it's made out of ash wood, and it's sort of blackened with like flaming runes engraved upon it. And you pull it out and you give it a flick, and out throws this small, the rest of you see streaking through the forest, this small red glowing bead that you recognize, that then reaches the center of this group and just and explodes into a ball of fire.
Am I rolling the dice?
No.
It's theatrical.
This is theatrical. They're running away at this point, so most of what you're going to be doing, we're going to just describe it, and things will happen. There are sort of giant zombie bodies, charred and flying to and fro. One of the commanders is also sort of blackened and thrown through the forest. Would have been the one that you would have taken down.
Sorry. My B.
Oh, it's okay. There's more.
Heavy casualties to the undead war party. Twixen.
How far away am I from my party?
You are right next to Seraph,
Okay.
and you're 90 feet away from the other two.
How far away are the zombies? Over 100 feet?
Zombies are over 100 feet away.
Okay. I start
A zombie train departing from
running
your area.
towards Tyrankai.
Okay.
I'll get as close as I can.
Okay, so if you dash, you can get within 30 feet, but it'll take your action. Okay. All right. Jacobin.
How far are the zombies from me?
60 feet.
Too bad that's not a throwy hammer.
Doesn't matter.
It could be.
All hammers are throwy hammers.
Are you going to use the old
They don't come back.
Yeah.
MS bonus
Overrated.
action?
The old,
move?
the old run 30, MS 30.
The old get out of jail free card?
Yeah, I'm gonna use my get out of jail free card, basically. Yeah. You catch up. Am I close enough to one of the captains?
Yeah. Say you are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The remaining one,
Is there just one left?
there's just one left.
Ideal, because that's all I care about. 17 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. Let's make it a spicy meatball. Just gonna level 1 smite it.
You don't have to roll damage.
Okay.
As I said, because these are undead and you're smiting and that stuff, you're dealing enough damage that you don't have to roll
Take it a
damage.
wrist.
Okay.
And just for funsies, because I got another attack.
Okay.
19 to hit.
Yeah, that'll hit as well.
Yeah. Bonk.
Yeah. Are you doing now because you expressed dismay at not getting a chance to talk to the Etten? Are you just like smiting and destroying, or are you smiting to capture, or to?
Smiting to capture. If there is such a thing.
I smite you, but not that hard.
I mean, I would like to talk to one of the captains.
Okay. So we'll say, you essentially make it as much of a non-lethal hit as you can do. So they let you smite the legs out from underneath it,
Bam.
literally.
Yes.
And then render it as a non-combatant. So Tyron Kai, that leaves you.
Is there even anything left to attack at this
There's
point?
still a horde of zombies.
I've just got this visual of like the group of zombies, and Taryn Kai running after them.
Yeah.
How far away are they?
So, your speed is
60.
So regular speed.
Regular speed.
Okay, so you can get up to this horde or what's left of it with a single movement.
Oh, we're doing a run and pounce at the group then.
Sure. So what we'll do is, I'm just gonna say, you don't have to make the attack roll because it's big enough that like you'll hit something.
That's a pity. I got a 9.
As I
That's
start
what a waste of a
dragging
19.
Dragging
Yeah, it
this
is a waste of a
legless
19.
torso back to the group. A dinosaur jumps over my head.
And with that,
That's
you pounce and you just like scatter bodies and everything, so that you would also get a bite attack as well, because the group as a whole failed its strength save or whatever. So you knock it down and you're just like feasting on it.
Oh, grab one nice wet squelching crunch, as crush it, pick up, twist, and throw it against a tree and go back to the group.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happening. You're like in a feeding frenzy right
just
now.
mauling the shit out of these
Bam,
things.
bam, bam, bam.
Life finds a way.
Nice.
So, and with that, yes, Jacob is basically dragging one of the commanders by the wrist, just like back toward the group, kind of a thing. And it is unconscious.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So you do drag it back, and we'll say that the Watchers help you bind it in whatever manner that you decide to choose.
He has no legs, so
Nope.
hands behind back.
Yeah. So yeah, presumably just and then just your standard like just tie him up
Yeah.
kind of a thing.
I mean, it's undead. Why are you leaving it with arms?
It's true. It only needs one appendage to talk.
May says fair enough and proceeds to systematically just like with a dagger.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's about right.
With a dull dagger.
Wakes up. I can't feel my legs. That's because we cut off your arms.
And eventually
It took a minute.
it does wake
like
up.
the full weight of that one took a
The
minute.
arms were for carrying it or dragging it. I guess we could just
It's
drag it
less
by the
weight to
hair.
drag now.
May's like,
Levitate. Just push it.
Okay.
Just tie a rope around its waist and drag.
that, I mean, after we interrogate it, there's no May's line of thinking is after we interrogate it, there's no reason that we need to keep it around, really.
Probably right. Yeah, whatever.
So, but yeah, she will sit back and let Jacobin do the talking.
A terrible idea, as we've established. But
But you know,
Top tier idea.
when you're questioning the undead, maybe a terrible idea is what you need. It does sort of come to, and upon realization that you have sort of dismembered what's left of its body, sort of just howls, seemingly not in pain, but in rage.
I'll wait for you to finish your tantrum.
You.
Oh, yeah, you can speak good. Yeah, me. You just give it a look, or... Oh, wow, wow. Very terrifying. Can you see? I'm almost shaking. Wow. So, what's your name? Where you from? What's your sign?
do you come around here often?
Yeah. It's your first time
Kill any
here?
interesting people?
I don't have a name anymore.
Oh, anymore. Well,
We don't need names anymore
Why's that?
because we are better than silly notions as names.
Oh, I disagree. Look at your situation.
A minor setback.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Well, where were you headed? Quite a crew you had assembled there.
We were heading to add more to our forces
Oh. Well, what for? What do you need more forces for?
because we always need more forces
For what?
for conquest.
Just for conquest's sake.
To rid the land of the living
Well, why would you want to do something like that?
because you're foul.
It's an undead.
I mean, some of us, and I glance at May, are foul. But, I mean, some of us are like pretty decent. Well, I mean, I guess I just don't understand. I mean, who's telling you these crazy stories and lies about foul living people?
There are no stories.
There's lots of stories.
You are foul because you are not undead.
Oh, okay.
There is no room for the living in our order.
Well, that's just like your opinion or whatever. So, I mean, who's in charge? Were you in charge of that little band that you had going there, or like was it one of your buddies that I obliterated, or
We were in charge.
like together?
Yes.
That's very inefficient. A lot of bureaucratic red tape, and you gotta agree. And did you guys have like disagreements or anything?
No.
Oh wow. So I mean, are there other groups like you out there, or I mean, I'm just trying to learn more about you. See, maybe if this world's something we really want to work for. Your undead world.
You'll find out soon enough.
Oh. Zone of truth.
Okay.
Seek out the city of Stratholme.
charisma save or
There
wisdom
you will
save?
find your answers.
I would guess whiz. I would think it's whiz because it's a
I
mind
don't
thing.
think a charisma save has come up yet in this
Yeah, I'm
game.
pretty sure
'cause
it's
I'm waiting
whiz.
for one, so I'm pretty sure it's wisdom.
whiz with a DC of 14.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah,
for the
it's my
spell?
DC is 14.
fails to save.
I mean, so I take my hammer and just flavor-wise and cast it. I mean, so who? Well, I mean, you guys were in charge of your group, but who commands you?
The new lords of the Rose Garden.
New Lords of the Rose Garden. Does that sound familiar to me at all?
Most citizens of Twillin know that the Rose Gardens are where the palace
Okay.
was.
Okay. The New Lords. Who might that be? Or who might they be?
I don't know. I've never met them.
Well, I mean, like, how did you get into the state that you're in now? I mean, not like the limbless one that we put you in, but like the undead state.
I was raised by my former commander.
Did they have a name? Or did they have no use for a name either?
There are no names.
No names. That must be very confusing.
No.
No.
We all know our purpose. We have no use for names.
What about the name of the Lord of the Flower Patch?
I do not know what that means.
I think he's talking about the Rose Garden Lord.
I do
Rose
not
Bowl.
know
That's
if
a
the
name.
lords have a name.
That's a name. Lords of the Flower Patch.
Yeah, he's right. More of a title, but title's just another word for name, I guess. It's not wrong. Got a bit of a hole in your story here. So, I don't know. Anybody else got any questions you want to ask? Basically, has to tell us the truth. Seraph, what do you got?
Why would a room be on top of a house?
That's a good question.
I do not understand this question.
I thought he had to tell the truth.
It's clearly not an intelligent being, so probably that's why he doesn't know the answer. You might be more familiar with this Rose Garden stuff than I am. And if his lords are there, well, that spells a bit of trouble for us, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Seraph is studying the undead, trying to think of what to ask or say that clearly it knows enough to do its job, but not enough to tell us anything. At least anything useful. Or so it appears.
So it would seem.
You're going to allow yourself to be abandoned and destroyed by your lords because they tell you that the living are evil. You're willing to die again, be destroyed again for this cause.
Ha! Spirits linger. It may only be a matter of time before I return, in some form or another.
Not necessarily the case with the group here. As you saw with one of your companions, I'm fairly certain that was a fairly total annihilation. I'm fairly certain that the same can be done to you if you are not willing or able to provide us more information than vagaries. Is that intimidation or persuasion?
That is intimidation.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're threatening to kill him.
We'll say you have advantage, as Jacobin is standing right there with the hammer.
That is a 22.
Hammer intensifies.
Nice.
I am being forced by magic to tell you what I know and what is the truth. You simply have to ask the correct questions.
Do you know me?
No.
What are you?
In the common tongue, I am what you would call a white.
Where are your lords?
The high commanders in
Yes.
the Rose Gardens.
Out of character, the Rose Gardens are in the Palace District in Rosington.
No, the palace is not in Rosington.
Okay, so the palace is.
So the palace is in an area known as the Rose Gardens.
Okay.
The Rose Gardens are well outside of Rosington. They are located near the center of the island. There is quite a ways because it's almost a city in and of itself. I mean, it's a very large castle with surrounding sort of farms and smithies and businesses and whatnot surrounding it.
Can I ask a question on May's behalf?
Sure. I'm sure Courtney would appreciate it.
Is the queen alive?
Yes.
Is the queen in danger?
I would certainly say yes.
Do your masters hold the queen?
Yes.
How many of your masters are there?
There are 2 lords.
Are they also whites?
No.
Oh, something different. Do you know what they are?
They are something more. I do not know if there is a word in the common tongue for it. It is similar to what you would call a vampire, but not quite that.
Rylan, Owlboy, they got anything to ask?
Ryan,
Ryan.
they've been sitting back and kind of letting you. Between you and Seraph, you seem to have a pretty good hand on the situation.
Hey. Where was your base of operations located?
It is to the west of here, a series of caves.
Was it just your crew using it, or were there others using it with you?
It was our war party.
Are there other bases like this? How many war parties do you think there are?
Dozens
Dozens.
upon dozens.
Upon dozens, yes. So, safe to say that there's many of these either caves or maybe forts or ruins or whatever they use for bases of operation out in the wilderness.
Yes.
Do you happen to know where any of these are?
Only the ones between here and the Rose Gardens.
Just to expedite, I'm going to ask him where all those are.
Sure.
And we'll just
Yeah,
just say
and
tell
we'll,
him.
there's basically 4.
Yeah.
and they're in a general track toward the Rose Garden.
Do the lords have the power to continue to animate you and your brethren?
Yes.
Can it be taken away from them?
I don't know.
Do you know anything about your lords other than what you've told us?
I have only seen shadows from afar, but they have long skeletal wings.
I'm quite satisfied with the amount of information we've retrieved.
Which is good because at this point, you know the spell is up.
Perfect. So, since we've got nothing else, time to play a little whack-a-mole, and I splat its head.
Okay. Well, that was certainly some useful information.
Indeed. Were you privy to any of this, or aware of any of that information?
We had our suspicions that there was some sort of underground areas being used to hide the undead from the light of the sun, whatever sun pokes through the clouds and the canopy. But actual locations is something that has been difficult to find, as it requires, if you don't know where to look, a little more fine combing of the forests, and unfortunately there are more pressing problems that are more readily visible than trying to find secret hideouts. This will be quite useful. We might be able to also make use of some of these hideouts for our own purposes.
Maybe they'll have to be cleared out first.
Possibly. Unless they're simply empty warrens that they were moving parties into and then out of.
Maybe.
I think it's certainly worth investigating further. What do you all think?
I agree.
What was it? Backstreet Sharks?
That's right. Why you smirk when you say that?
It's a funny name.
I think it's a very serious name, and we're a very serious group of people.
May laughs.
Well, maybe we still go back to your captain, see what they've got to say. Maybe relay this information.
Would you mind reporting this information back to the captain? The Owl Rider nods. It's
oh boy, what's your actual name?
I was literally just wondering.
Pardon me,
the writer?
boy.
Jeff.
My name's Jeff. I hope he talks like that.
No.
This here's my owl. I call it Hoots. Because Mom always said I had a thing for big hoots.
Well, you know what? I like Owlboy better. I think it really suits you. Well, yeah, pass that information on. Thanks for your help. You almost hit me on the head with that potion, so you might want to practice that. A little potion drop.
That's not how it happened.
In Jacobin's mind, it did.
Yep.
That is DM saying that is not how it happened.
Jacobin's perception is his reality.
It's true.
That's his experience.
That explains so many things.
That has been true 100% of the time in this game.
Yeah.
So,
That is entirely in keeping with your character.
so Owl Rider Jeffrey takes off heads back toward the direction of Duskarth Lodge to the south.
And what do you recommend we do?
Well, I think it's been a bit of a rough start to the day. We might need to sort of find a safe area, make camp, and rest for a bit. And then perhaps we should just continue to the first location.
It's fine with me. Everyone else?
Tyronkai's still just a little ways off, still well within sight, but
Throwing dead bodies against trees.
No, he's with all the time taken for the questioning and for him to wake up, the bloodlust has stopped, and now he's just maintaining his transformation and kind
The whole
of.
time we're questioning that guy, we just hear dinosaur roars.
It stopped eventually, and he's just kind of keeping lookout a little ways off because, being a tall boy and with good sense of smell, and I can hold a single transformation for 4 hours, so why not?
Well then, I would suggest that we perhaps find a safe spot to camp.
You know the area better than us.
Right. So, follow me. We'll say Tyronkai, since you're the most survival inclined in the group. Give me a survival check with advantage.
Oh, good thing. Very good thing, because I whiffed one of them. But I'm gonna add and the other one was crappy too, so I'm gonna add the D8 I got to it. Okay, it's a little better.
Has it been 10 minutes?
Oh, that's right. It would definitely have been long enough
No, you
for it to
can.
fall
You
off.
can. No, you can use the inspiration die.
All right. So that's. 19.
Okay. Yes, you guys managed to find. There's like an area of boulders, and kind of getting into like a little bit of a hillier terrain. Still heavily forested, but you're guessing that it's kind of in the side of those hills that like the Grufton mines were found in. So you find a bunch of boulders, and you're able to make a shelter like against them, so it's protected on 3 sides. And then you kind of like build up almost like a blind in the front, so that way you're pretty well camouflaged. So.
Is anyone still hurt?
So at this point, we'll say, like you make camp and you can do a short rest. Since you just took a long rest.
Yeah.
So during a short rest, you can spend hit dice to regain hit points. And what this is you have a number of hit dice equal to your level. And then you, for each number that you spend, you roll basically like the die that you use for hit points. You roll that, and you regain that many hit points back. You do apply your Constitution modifier.
No, I'm still at full health. I was
know you're
asking if
full.
anyone else was hurt.
But explain this to everybody else.
Yep.
And if Twixen decides to do some sort of performance, it also adds bonus healing.
I will definitely do that. Pull up my gooch and play something creepy. Maybe it fits the mood.
Of course.
Like a jaunty sea shanty or something.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure if it's an extra D6 or D8.
We'll look that up. Hold on.
You all right?
No,
you're the
just
one
the
who's still hurt?
dramatic piano
Oh, okay.
music. So
That's what I thought. I was just making sure.
It's Twixen.
Yep.
It totally is.
Yep.
Yep.
Just hitting random notes.
Pretty much. It's an extra D6.
It's an extra D6? Okay.
Yep.
So if you spend hit dice, it's not an extra D6 per hit die.
It's just an extra
on
D6.
top
any,
of.
if you receive any healing, you also get an extra d6 of healing.
Good.
Cool.
The temporary hit points I get from Hungry Jaws, does that fall off after a short rest? I mean, I'd have to assume so, because Hungry Jaws recharges on a short rest.
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
that it does. I don't know if that racial power actually specifies, but we'll say for the purpose
To
of it.
be
that,
in line
yeah.
with other things that are similar, I would say
Okay.
it probably does.
All right, so my 3 bonus hit points are gone, but
Yep.
I'm still at full health.
But you get Hungry Jaws back.
Yes, I do. And
Yes.
both my wild shapes.
Yep.
Druid too strong.
Druids.
Druid.
I don't believe you have anything that recharges after a short rest,
Nothing.
Mr. Paladin Man.
Hey, Mr. Paladin
So.
Man, play me a song.
So you take a quick break, have a snack, kind of catch your breath, recharge up a bit, and then head out. You're still finding a lot of these sort of charms and fetishes and figurines in the trees. But the further you get away from the hills, they start to diminish until it's just straight forest again. And what you know is the less of that stuff that you find, you start to see more elements of, we'll say, corruption. So you find like withered plants. You find the occasional like small creature that seems to have been reanimated. So like little zombie squirrels or a zombie rabbit.
Which the correct response to of is light them on fire.
Okay, noted. Occasionally trees will have kind of like this black, oily sap emanating from them that either have blackened leaves or they have died altogether.
So the less of the creepy things that we see, the more corrupted it gets?
Correct.
So the creepy things was protecting the forest. Great.
That's
I mean-
strange.
Twillin.
Yeah, well, yes, but
Can I make a perception check? See if this is this magic is druidic in nature.
So that's actually gonna be a religion check.
Okay. Then so shall it be. Oh, well, it's just a straight roll. Nat 20.
Okay. So
Where's your god now?
you know that druidic magic does often incorporate like totemic figurines. These are not like that. Because totemic figurines are often will have some kind of like aesthetic value, or will just be like just naturally shaped things. So, you know, a totem might be like the shell of a creature, or some kind of naturally occurring like plant that's been preserved. I mean, these are not druidic magic. And we'll say you do recognize that they would be related to some kind of hex-based magic.
Okay.
Witchidic.
I was about to say some Blair Witch.
The Brood Witch? This place reeks of death.
Obviously. Didn't we just fight like a bunch of them?
Tyrankai seems quite pleased with the aesthetic of decay and black, oily sap, even though he's a little concerned. at
Tyrankai
the
mentions this while you're still walking through the portion of forest that has like the sort of figurines and fetishes. Tiger seems more comfortable when you get into the corrupted forest area.
It reminds him of his swamp. There's slime, there's rot, there's a stench in the air. It's home.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it?
That would be a poor choice, being the last of his clan. As he starts to age, he's going to start thinking towards broodlings.
Start to age? Didn't you just age?
I actually did age quite a bit, but it's a
right.
slow burn, the realization that he's getting older.
Oh yeah. Hey, that max hit point thing that happened to me. Is that still a thing?
That is still a thing.
Oh gosh, one of those. Okay.
Yep.
Casper the dickbag
'cause you only
ghost
took a
stealing
short
your
rest.
con score.
So, and after some time, you come to the location of the first set of caves. And there is sort of like a secret entrance that you know to look for. And you sort of push like this set of rocks aside that seem to like almost make like a perfect seam. There is sort of a rotten, stale smell that wafts out from the cave when you sort of shift the stones out in front of it.
Even Tyron Kai crumples his nose at this stench.
I'm trying to think. Seraph, do you have dark vision?
I do.
Okay. So, May and Seraph are able to see down, and
I cast the light on my torch.
Okay.
My spearhead.
yeah, that's good. So,
Kept light on my torch.
Yes. Like, nope, that wasn't right.
so before Twixen casts light, you see completely natural cave. It seems to be leading in through a short passageway. And then it must take a turn or something because it seems to like abruptly stop. Twixen casts light on his spear, and you go in and you do see that it takes a turn. And with that, we are going to end our session for the night.
Oh.